If you're looking for the best beans porridge recipe, then you are at the right place. In today's video, I'll be showing you how to make the tastiest and easiest beans porridge recipe. Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. So let's get started. The first thing you want to do is to pick your beans. Now you know that most of the time when you buy your beans, it is not totally cleaned. Well, for some it is, but for majority it is not. So the first step you want to do is to make sure you clean your beans. That is, take out any dirt, any bad beans out of the good ones, any stone, and set aside any beans back or shell. You want to take that out and set aside, so you'll be having clean and fresh beans to be using for your meal. So that's exactly what I'm doing. The only reason why I'm using this method is because I'm doing it in a small quantity, but if you're going to be cooking in large, you can use a tray to pick your beans. So once we pick our beans and we're done, we'll get to the next step. The next step is to wash your beans with some water. So I'm going to pour water into my beans now, and I'm going to try to rinse it. We're not like washing the beans. We don't want to take the shell. We just want to rinse the beans and be able to take out any dirt. You'll see, one of the things you'll notice is that once you pour water into your beans, any beans that is bad or any shell, it will float to the top. Then at other times, your the stones that will be in the beans will also be trapped at the bottom of your bowl. So you want to carefully take off your beans just in case you have stones under. That way you can be able to do away with that, right? All right. In a clean pot on fire, we're going to transfer that cleaned beans into the pot and add some water. Well, enough water to cook your beans. If you have a pressure pot, please do well to use that. It works faster. So we're going to allow that beans to boil, and while it is boiling, we're going to get our pepper mix ready. So I'm using a combination of tomatoes, shombo, onion, and some Scotch bonnet pepper. I'm going to wash that clean. So I always like to take out the seeds from my tomatoes. Then I'm going to clean my peppers and prep my onion. Now for my shombo, because I don't have Tatashe, and you know Tatashe is not all that hot, so it makes it that even if I use a lot of Tatashe and shombo, it's not, my pepper mix is not so hot. But because I don't have the Tatashe, I'm taking out the seeds from the shombo. That makes it a little peppery, so that I can use more shombo, and then it will not be it will not be hot like peppery, you know what I mean. So I have all of my pepper cleaned. I'm going to grate it. I'm using my local food processor, you guys. So if you have a big food processor, like if you have a manual food processor, what am I saying? If you have your food processor, please by all means use that. But because I don't have it, and we don't want a blended version of this, we want it coarsely blended. Like we want to be seeing a bit of a chunk. So that's why I had to use my manual blender. Then I'm going to slice my onion. You can also grate your onion if you want, but I just prefer to have mine sliced. So I'm going to have all of my onions sliced and ready to go. Alright, now this is totally optional, but because I love veggies, and you guys know how much I love veggies, well, if you don't, I am a great advocate of healthy eating and healthy living. So one of the things I love to do is to incorporate vegetables into my meal. So I'm using some shredded pumpkin leaves, also known as ugu leaves. I wash that with some salt and then I chop it. Like I said, this is totally optional. You can also use any vegetables you want. You don't have to use this. You can use spinach, lettuce, cabbage, anything. So next we're going to check up on our beans and check what's going on in the pot. And as you can see, at least I can break it. It's not totally soft, but it is halfway. And so the idea was to parboil it. And the idea of parboiling it is so that I'm going to be able to take that water, the first water that comes off the beans. You see this water? We don't want to use this. So that's why we parboiled it for over 30 to 45 minutes. So I added my beans back, added some onion, a lot of onion actually, and some salt, and let that cook. While that beans is cooking, in another pot we're going to go in with some palm oil, or red oil, and then onion. Guys, use a lot of onions. Onions add a lot of sweetness to your meals. I'm going to fry that until it becomes translucent and all of the fragrance and the aroma and the flavor from the onion goes into the oil. Then I'm going to go in with some crayfish. Now I want to make sure that these onions has fried well before I go in with my crayfish, because we'll not be leaving that for so long, because you don't want your crayfish to burn. Adding this crayfish at this point gives a lot of flavors to your porridge. I bet you want to try this and come back and testify. While you fry that just for a bit, because we don't want it to burn, we'll go in with our pepper mix. You mix this thoroughly and allow it to fry properly. I added a bit of oil because I was like, I need enough oil so that this thing fries really well. So I let it fry for a bit. You can see that it has totally fried at this point. Then I'll begin spicing. I'm going in with my seasoning cube, with my salt, and then a little bit of thyme. Please don't add curry to your porridge, I beg you. Even the thyme is totally optional, but I love the taste of thyme in this. Then I'm going to go in with this chicken and beef flavor. I will not be using any protein, but I love the flavor and the spice, so I added that. Like I said, this is totally optional. You're going to stir that until it fries and all of the spices marry the pepper mix thoroughly. And once we get to this level, we know we are done with this stage. Next up, we want to check on that beans that has been boiling. And guys, at this point, this beans should be like 80 to 85% ready. You can see that it is breaking even more easily at this point. Then we're going to transfer that pepper mix, that flavored, that sweet, sensational pepper mix that we made, and we're going to mix this thoroughly. At this point, you want to taste for seasoning. If it blends well, if it's too small, you want to add anything that you feel like you should add. I added a bit of crayfish at this point and a little tiny salt. Stir that, covered, and let it continue cooking so that the beans and sauce will have time to, bond a lot of times. Now I want to be eating this with some plantain, because my family said they wanted plantain. You can have it with gari or whatever you want, bread, but they said plantain, so I decided to fry some plantain. Now guys, I have a good news for you guys. Drum roll. If you check our page, you can see that we've hit the 1K subscriber count. Yes, thank you. If you're happy for us, please do well to go there and go and drop a congratulations in the comment section. I've not officially made an official post, but I will do that. But until then, you guys are the first to find out and the first to celebrate with me, and I love you all for being here with me. So back to our beans. At this point, you can see that this is beginning to come together. Now I use black-eyed beans for this. You can use whatsoever beans. You can use honey beans. It's one of the best for this particular recipe, but I didn't have that, so I had to use this. So at this stage, I went in with my vegetable, stirred that, covered that for like 2 to 3 minutes. And guys, our porridge is ready, like the yummiest, tastiest. See, if you taste the water from this porridge and it is not sweet, then you know you are missing something. But from the taste of, that water that comes from the porridge, if it's sweet like honey, you know you've gotten this thing right. And guys, look at this yummy goodness. Please make sure you try this recipe out. Don't forget to like this video. Don't forget to comment and let me know what you want me to recreate next, and I'll see you on my next one. I love you so much. Take care, my lovelies.